Well, we're headed overseas again, this time Italy. This is going to be exciting. We're heading just south of Rome to a little-known province known as Molise. It's a very beautiful part of Italy, and my grandparents happen to be from here. We're here for the olive harvest, for a truffle hunt, and for me to visit for the first time the town my mom's parents came from. All right, it's day one, the truffle hunt. It's really early in the truffle season, and this isn't exactly the best truffled region. We're not in Umbria after all, but we're here and we're truffle hunting. We got the dogs, we got the hunters, we got the goofy yellow shoes on. Hope we get some truffles. It's been a little rainy. We got to walk around these crazy crevasses. Dogs have to dig, then you pull them back, and then you dig, and then the dog goes back in. And hopefully by the end of this shoot today, we're going to come back with at least a half a dozen little edible truffles, and we're going to eat them. That's plan A. Plan B is we're going to eat truffles tonight anyway, so you'll see us cooking with them, you'll see us in kitchens with them, but hopefully you can see where they come from, because this is really a magic thing. Now, I'm also told there's only a sliver of a moon right now here where we are in Italy, and I'm told that this could be folk thing, you know, Italian folk tales, because nobody knows about truffles. But I'm told that as you get to the fuller moon and the full moon, the size of the truffles expand. Who knows? Sounds like fishing stories, you know what I mean? So everyone's got an excuse, but we'll see. We're going to hunt truffles today. Stay tuned.
Buona, è buona Ghira. Tartufo che non è buono. Vieni Ghira, vieni. Ghira. Brava, 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 brava.
Spot found a truffle. We found this bad boy, which isn't that big, but it's a white truffle. It smells great, and we could eat this thing. And where we were digging, the dog was going around. You know, these truffles, you can't plant them. They grow wherever they want, and they tend to like to be near roots of certain trees, certain vines, scrub oaks, and that's exactly where this one was down here, clustered right up against this root pack of one of these trees. Took him a while. You could hear the guy saying, back up, back up. You could smell the truffle in the dirt, but we couldn't find the truffle. The dirt smelled like truffle all around it, and then finally, bingo. Hopefully we get a few more of these today, but we're on to something. All right, we've been told that the truffle pass that these two truffle hunters have allows us onto anybody's property to truffle hunt as long as they don't have a sign fencing it in. I hope there's nobody angry around here with a shotgun. You know, besides having truffle dogs over here in Italy, down under in Australia, they've got truffles, and they don't hunt them with dogs, they hunt them with humans. I've got two truffle hunters here. Yeah. Nikki and Danielle, who've been trained to do this since they've been children, right?
Yes.
Been hunting truffles in the bush since the beginning. Hunting truffles and surfing since they were grommets.
That's right.
So here we go. We're going to hunt around using their technique and see if we can find a truffle here in Italy. We ready?
This
and
is
be careful.
We do. This is what we do.
It's dangerous too. It's dangerous stuff. So be careful. Step back. It's kind of like Black Mambo. Scary stuff. All right, let's go.
I think you need to stand over there.
Okay, stand back a little bit.
The scent. Where is that truffle?
They're onto something. They're onto something.
Where was it?
Stand back. They're onto something. Get close. Now don't eat them. Don't eat them.
No, over.
They're onto something.
Where is this truffle? I can smell it.
They got close.
Oh my God.
You gotta get them before they eat them, because they're tough that way. You gotta bat them. Give them a treat. Give them a treat. Damn, Aussies.
Mine.
They got the truffle. They got the truffle. It's right there. Oh, see, I broke. That's all right now.
Oh, damn, we broke the truffle.
They're tough. This is what they'll do for a
Careful.
truffle here. That's
We'll
right.
Get you.
Well, thanks an awful
Smell
lot.
that aroma. There you go,
And
mate.
from 10 feet away, upwind, we got this. So you never know. Oh, beautiful.
Dog. Search and therefore.
This is great. This is the stuff we're picking today, baby. These are the truffles we got today.
This is the Viagra.
Yeah. Can I translate that? One of the things that amazed me on this trip was time after time as we visited these little restaurants and villages, the chef always turned out to be basically my grandmother. These little Italian women were really the professional chefs putting out dinners for 60, 70, 100 people a night. I mean, these are older women working on the stoves. I had no idea this was going on. How would she describe the food of this region?
Se lei dovrebbe descrivere il cibo di questa regione, come lo
A
descriverebbe?
noi qua dalle parti nostre facciamo molto
Homemade pasta is always a base. Sausage, pork
Lamb,
dishes, lamb,
Vitello,
exactly.
bacala.
Exactly, bacala.
Allora, la cucina molisana è soprattutto una cucina meridionale fatta di ortaggi.
The Molisian cuisine is a Mediterranean cuisine with some foods that were the base of the cuisine. She started with extra virgin olive oil, pork, fresh vegetables are very important, lamb is very important, and although now they do have veal and things, before that was too costly, so it wasn't really used in this region, but now they're starting to, but still the old favorites like lamb and pork, those are still, and fresh vegetables, those are still most used.
We're here in this little town in Molise called Anione. It's like the center of Abruzzi, and they're famous for one thing among others. It's way high up in the hills. All sorts of pirates used to come through here, but what they're known for is this. They make the best bells, some of them in the world. Listen. Listen to that sound. Is that fantastic? I mean, they make bells here for all the churches in Italy. They come and get blessed by the Pope and the bishops. I mean, this is a beautiful thing. Listen to this sound. I'll start on this end. I like it. I sound like my kids' little bell choir, man. This is rocking. And I guess they go high to low. I should have started higher. Who would have thunk it? Bells. I don't know. It's a food show. But we had to do the bells thing or I felt like I'd be cheating you. You know I love fish, and I love fish markets. And we're in Termoli, which has a really nice little fish market. It's about 1 in the morning. We've just had dinner. Let's do a fish market. Rigor mortis just setting in. We had this for dinner. You eat the wings. Look at these bad boys. Cute little mouth. Look at it smiling at you. Eh? That's what rays look like upside down. Little whelks, conch, scongili in Italian. I don't even know what half these fish are because these are Adriatic fish. Look at this. I mean, again, rigor mortis, these are just in off the boats. These are just tiny little fish that you're going to deep fry and eat whole. In the squid family. There's the head, the tentacles, the body, and this. Just smells like the ocean. This is beautiful stuff. This is the back of it. And you can see how it's going to fool predators, looking like that's a head. Those are the eyes, but that's actually the tail. Here's the body. Here are its little claws, and it's just like a little sea spider somewhere between a crawfish and a langoustine. And now, here we are. We've done the flea circus. Now we've got crustaceans doing headstands. Grazie.
6 volte alla settimana mangio il pesce.
6 volte?
Sì.
He says he eats fish 6 times a week.
Did anybody ever tell him you look like Bobby De Niro?
Qualcuno mi ha detto che fareste come Roberto Di Niro?
Non ho
L'attore?
No. Robert
che
De Niro.
La faccia vostra
De
Roberto
Niro,
Sì,
Robert De Niro.
sì.
You look
Sì,
like
sì,
De
la
Niro,
faccia,
man.
ecco.
Hey, you calling me a mook? Part of this olive harvest story that I love is as we were putting together the itinerary, I was looking at the map and I said, wait a minute, we're going to be right around the corner from where my grandmom was born and raised. Her house was always full of food and I adore her and I miss her greatly. So I'm looking at this map and I said, we're right near Riccia, this little town in Italy called Riccia that nobody's ever heard of because they refer to themselves as Ricciaiol. If you're from Riccia, you're Ricciaiol. So with the help of some friends, they located this town for me and, well, this is the old part of it. This is like an ancient old hillside town. I don't know where they lived, but somewhere in this town is where they came from. So I've got relatives here named Dorenzo and Corvino. That's the old castle over here that they've rehabbed. This place almost doesn't exist on the map for some reason. Even on the Italian maps, it's like an area nobody visits, but maybe the locals like it that way. But I'm happy to be here. It's a bit of a coming home story. So we'll drive around Riccia a bit and see what we can find. Somebody around here's got my DNA. So here we are in Riccia. School's letting out in a different world, in a different lifetime. This might be me, coming home from school. One of these kids, you know, with mom and grandma, getting to walk down the street for a little lunch break. You know, an hour, some risotto at home, some pasta, maybe some polenta. Could be me. We saw wine being made in one episode this year, and now we're going to see olive oil being made. I mean, this is great. Let's figure out how they get the fruit off the trees and what they do with it next. Olive Oil 101.
In this area, Larino area, we have this particular variety called Gentile di Larino, and the name gives you also the characteristic of the oil. Gentile
Soft,
means it's very mild and very delicate taste.
Olives to me, there's a similarity, as all my life if I've tasted olives and I taste wine, and I see vineyards and I see olive orchards, there's a real similarity to me between the fruit of the olive and the fruit of the grape. So
They are very close. Wine and oil, they go together everywhere. For the farmers, for the table, because there are two ingredients important, two fruits. They need more or less the same assistance.
Mm-hmm. We're in a facility here in Larino. Here they've got that big Montoya doing the pressing up there. It's got 4 wheels. It's pressing a lot of olives. But in this case, the olive mash is coming here. You can see it's being worked, being further mashed. But instead of being pressed by pressure through those filters, it's being separated by a centrifuge. That's what's behind me making all this noise. It's spinning that paste and extracting the oil from it right here. This is about how 90% of the olive oil today is being made. Little by little, the idea of pressing takes too long, it's inefficient, doesn't process the fruit fast enough, so the centrifuge is really taking over from the press style. Press was the old school method, this is the new school method, same finished product, which you can see coming out right here. This is beautiful. Give me some lettuce, a splash of vinegar, maybe even lemon juice with this. This is such a delicate oil. On bib lettuce or endive, I'm hungry. So now we know, that's olive oil. If you wanted to buy unfiltered olive oil, this is what you're buying, the olive oil at this point. But 99% of what's sold is filtered. So how do they do it? Well, take a look. How does about 500 coffee filters lined up and pressure sound to you? What does exactly the term extra virgin mean?
Extra virgin means that you get a product from an operation very simple, mechanic, without any chemical
Additions, enhancements.
Exactly.
All right. I loved Italy. I love visiting my grandparents' village. I learned a ton of stuff about olive oil. This is great. Now it's time to cook. So what do you cook? Well, you know, we were there at the end of that trip in Termoli, that little port town on the Adriatic. And after a long dinner, we wandered down, I guess it was probably midnight. We probably had a glass of wine or two too many. But, you know, come on, you're having fun and it's Italy. But we went down to the market because that's when those markets are open. You know, the boats are coming in at night. That's when they do the auction. It's over by 3, 4 in the morning. So we were there after midnight. And we got that cool guy, you know, De Niro's distant relative, you know. I love that guy. And it got me thinking, what am I going to make? Well, you know, we haven't ever done seafood risotto on the show. And Italy, it's a boot. It's surrounded by water. So all along the coastline, they eat seafood. They eat it fresh, just like you saw it. I mean, whatever comes in on those boats, they eat. So we're going to sort of just make something a little more upscale, a great seafood risotto. And I went to the market today, and I have shrimp. I have lobster claws. I love the knuckle meat. It's my favorite meat on the lobster. Anytime you guys want to buy lobsters, you keep the tail. Just send me send me the knuckle meat. Freeze it. Send me all the knuckle meat. To me, it's the sweetest, best meat on the lobster. Nobody likes it because it's the hardest to get at. But we're going to shrimp, lobster as the stars, but the supporting cast, just as importantly, are going to be mussels and clams. I got little tiny little neck clams. We're going to steam them open, shuck them out. Mussels we're going to open. We're going to use the broth from the mussels and the clams to make the risotto, and I'm going to make shrimp stock with the shrimp shells because, you know, really what risotto is it's that short grain arborio rice. You're cooking it for 18 minutes, and it's carrying the flavor of whatever you make. So if it's a wild mushroom risotto, you want to make a great mushroom broth or have a little veal stock, something to give it backbone. Usually when people make risotto at home, it doesn't taste like anything. You know, you're making it like with water. Nah. Restaurants, that's a complete no-no. Some kind of big, heavily reduced stock. You know, mushroom essence, mushroom puree, set powder. I mean, tell me, they are sticking everything they can in there to build it up. Well, we're going to do it really simple, honest way. Clam juice, mussel juice coming right off the shells. Shrimp stock. That's going to be all the broth, all the flavor I need. We'll add the seafood. Well, you'll see how we'll do it. We'll cook. Hot pan, mussels, clams. I've soaked them for a while. I'm going to put in some water. You could use wine, but I'm not going to. Lid, and let's let them sit. I soak them for probably half an hour before I use them. They're bivalves. I want them to inhale, exhale. A lot of times you'll get some excess sand out of them. So just throw them in my sink, you know, close the sink drain. Halfway up, drop the mussels and clams in there, let them go in and, you know, breathing for a while, then I take them out. So there's still maybe some sand in the stock, so I won't use it all, but that's one thing I always do at home is soak bivalves before I cook them. Got my water there that's coming to a boil. I'm setting a timer. Put that lid slightly off. All right, let's check the mussels and the clams. Yeah, they never take long. And that broth is delicious. It's salty, so we're not going to salt the risotto when we're making it. We'll strain it out, let it sit, and then by letting it sit, the sand will fall to the bottom, and I won't use the bottom part. All right, this has been about 5-6 minutes. We got a good boil going. Let's just drain them and let them cool. And as soon as they're cool enough to handle, we'll crack them open. Shrimp, peeled shrimp go in here. Shells go into my other container. And shrimp stock takes about 20 minutes to make and a 0 skill level. Got a pan and put just a little bit of oil in there. Just a touch. All right, shrimp shells. I'm going to let them, you'll see, they're going to turn from this color to pink. This part takes about a minute. Just get some nice color. Once they're all pink, we're going to add water. And then just let this water boil, reduce down, add more water, reduce it down. Repeat that one more time for 3 total reductions. It takes about 20-25 minutes. Bring it down to where I have just enough broth that I need. You know, half a cup, a little less. Strain it, throw the shells away, and that little pink broth is delicious. Just a great flavor component for pastas, for risotto. All right, we're just gonna segregate the meat. So inside this risotto, you're gonna have clams, mussels in mixing with the rice. Beautiful broth that it cooked in. You know, it's all about ingredients. You really can't go wrong with good ingredients. And this wasn't the most expensive thing to make. It's just a bit time consuming. Sometimes you find a beard. See this? Little beard there in that mussel. We'll just pull that off there. We're going to cut a little incision in here just to open it up. Then we're going to open this little knuckle meat up and scoop it out. All right, for the claw, get your culinary scissors, cut right down the top, cut here in the side without getting too deep. Hey, oh, mackerel. All right. Hopefully, I got lucky, see? That left me that piece, and that's a lobster claw. We might use that as garnish. Just saute it in butter at the end. This is a half an hour later, plus or minus a few minutes. I'm just going to, right about now, strain it. We'll see what it looks like. I'm going to go right into this pan because I want to keep, when I make risotto, I want the broth I'm making it with hot. So I'm going to keep a little flame under this pan. And that is shrimp broth. Now here is my clam and mussel broth, which you can see that's clean. There is no sand in there. We're going to get a flame on that, and we'll start with the risotto in a second. This is a really nice arborio from last season. I'm going to get a little garlic in the pan. Garlic and basil. Just cooked. We'll add some rice and Let that pick up a little bit of this garlic-scented oil, and the basil also perfume the oil. Just for about 10 seconds, let the rice pick those flavors up. Now we start. 18 minutes is about how long risotto takes. So, a couple of ladles of the shrimp stock, and I'm just gonna move it around. I don't cook it too fast, and I don't want to cook it too slowly. Just a real gentle simmer. And as it picks up the broth and starts to dry out, we add more broth. Kind of drying out. We'll just let this risotto pick up a little more. Because this is, by doing this, I'm stirring. I'm getting the starch off these short grains to kind of release little by little. Now I'm going to add another, I've got a 2-ounce ladle here. And we're just going to go 2 ounces by 2 ounces. All right, you can see it's getting creamy. Rice is still firm. I don't want it to take this too far because then the rice breaks. Just like pasta. I want this a little bit al dente. All right, 2 things. I've got to add my clams and mussels. I chopped up some lobster meat. Got to add the lobster meat. So let's incorporate them into this. Meantime, I've got a pan on the side here. I'm going to saute off the shrimp and the lobster on the side because I want to color. I don't want them in there. Then it kind of gets too soupy for me. So we're going to have the risotto that's very seafood, full of my shellfish, full of my lobster meat, full of that seafood broth. And on the side, I'm going to have shrimp to just eat it. So it's kind of, to me, that's texturally a little bit more interesting that way. And these shrimp aren't going to take terribly long to cook. A little oil in a pan. I've got some mascarpone cheese, which is like an Italian-style cream cheese, basically. And I'm just going to spoon that in. Shrimp are just about done. How do you know they're done? Well, they've turned white. I mean, when they're not cooked, they're that kind of, you know, translucent. Put them right here in a pan. Now, a little olive oil, a little butter. We'll just get these claws in here. Warm them up, toss them in the butter. They don't need any salt or pepper because they're salty to begin with. Toss them in that butter. And I'll meet you on the other side where we'll plate all this up. I'm getting hungry. How can you go wrong with this? But we'll see, we'll see. We're not done yet. We're not out of the woods. I'll meet you over there. Got some chopped parsley just to finish this off with. And beautiful, it's creamy, right about where I want it. I don't want it soupy. Put a lobster on the top. Another one down here. Spoon these shrimp around a little. So there you have it. That's simple. Risotto's creamy, beautiful. It's going to taste like seafood. We'll go in for a little bite here. I can't resist this lobster driving me nuts. First I'm going to nibble on the lobster. No, you know what that's like. The claw and the knuckle are delicious. And this is just really nice, simple, creamy risotto. Tastes like seafood, tastes like the shrimp broth. Grab a mussel in there. I wish I could eat out more often this well. This is great. I mean, not nothing. The broth is in there, the seafood's in there. It's really simple. Easy meal to make at home. Just don't take shortcuts with the risotto. Italy was great. Can't wait to go back. We'll find an excuse next year. They're harvesting something. They're picking something out of mushrooms. Mushrooms maybe, the mushroom harvest or something. But hey, eat well at every occasion. Thanks for watching. See you next time.